All right, let's talk about the Luciferian flood. This right here is popular people who want to support what's called gap theory. Gap theory says that between Genesis 1 and 2 and the rest of Genesis describes two entirely different creation events, and that there was a world that existed on this earth before Adam and Eve were created, and that there were people roaming on the earth, except for they didn't have souls or anything like that, like the people do today. Anyhow, there's no evidence that this idea didn't originate in someone's head. There's no writings to support this. However, there is some Jewish ideas that suggest that God creates, destroys, creates, destroys. So in other words, he creates a civilization. The civilization becomes corrupt. In other words, the sin becomes, way, way, way out of control. He then destroys that world, resets everything, starts over. The creation becomes corrupt. He then destroys that world. And there's an infinite number of these creation events. And we're just one in an infinite chain of creation events that God does. And that there is an infinite number of creations before us. There will be an infinite number of creations after us. If you want to read about this, there's a book called Legends of the Jews. You can get a free PDF if you want to go read that book. But that right there, there's a story in the Legends of the Jews that describes exactly what I was just describing there. But anyhow, as far as the Luciferian flood and the pre-flood, or not the pre-flood people, but the pre-creation people, the pre-Adam and Eve people, there's absolutely no basis for it, even in Judaism. So it's complete bunk on that one, in my opinion. As far as your other question, no, the earth is not flat. The earth is absolutely a globe, and there's nothing in the scriptures that indicate that the earth has to be flat.